Hey,
Hello.
What's up, y'all?
how y'all doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Happy
Doing good.
end of November. Cyber
Yeah.
Monday. Y'all survived Black Friday, apparently. Nobody looks bruised up.
Right.
Good thing.
Did anybody go out shopping?
Nope.
I did. We did go out. We didn't really do. But I wasn't really like in the midst of it all. But we did go.
What is the midst of it all? What do you mean you went to like side?
So you were crowded at the Walmart door, or
No, I was just like we went like after it had calmed down, like later in the.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Like later in the day, just to see, because I like the matching pajamas. So we got the matching pajamas, and then I gotta fight the traffic at the post office. But it
Right.
wasn't anything specific that
I muted it.
Yeah, it wasn't anything. Anything that I was really looking for. So I wasn't like I have done in the past. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Did we do? No. Black Friday. No, I actually worked Black Friday, so we didn't do anything. Yeah. But for some reason, I don't remember a lot of like a whole bunch of promotions. It was like they were doing Black Friday sales for like a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to mention, you don't have to go out anymore. You can order everything online, have it shipped to the store, and get the same deals.
Yeah, and that's for the stuff that's in stock. A lot of stuff was out, especially like electronics.
Yeah.
I guess the supply chain problems. So yeah. Oh well. Oh well.
I wanted to do some Old Navy shopping, but Old Navy I wanted to online shop, and everything that I wanted was already gone. So I was just like, this sucks.
Dang.
Yeah, I freed myself of Black Friday about 3 years ago.
Are you one of those people that used to go out and get in all those fights and all that?
Honey, I would be in the line 2 a.m.
Really? I have never done that. I've never done that.
And I have always gotten what I went there for.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
So you have some blood on your hands.
Yes, she does.
I would just be in line early. Or me and a relative would swap.
Okay, let me not put that on you, Shana. I'm not saying that you're a criminal. I'm just saying that it's more likely that you stopped on somebody. I'm just
maybe to get them out of elbow or something.
I saw that TV first. Actually, that was the one time I went out on Black Friday years ago when they did a big sale on flat screens, and I just my whole family wanted it. Stood in line. Rushed in there, and all the were gone, every single one. And I'm just like, dang. So I saw like underneath where the big stack of TVs that were now gone were, like there was another like area with TVs in there, but they weren't on sale. And that's the thing, like, how come these TVs aren't on sale? And he's like, hey, look, come back in 2 weeks, and all of the Black Friday deals you see are gonna be here again. And I was like, all right, there ain't no TVs anyway. So I just said, yeah, we'll see. 2 weeks later, I just show up. And sure enough, he was not lying. It was the same price for the TVs that were still in stock. I was like, oh, I'm never doing this again. I'm never going to stand in line again.
Right.
Got a TV for the family. Everyone was happy. It's great.
That's
Didn't have to stop nobody.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
well. Guess what? Y'all? I lost 8 pounds.
Ooh.
That's exciting.
It is because I tried something new. Have you ever heard of high volume foods?
No, I have not.
No.
Okay, so high volume foods I learned are foods that you can eat a lot of, that keep you full, that don't give you a lot of calories, that you can kind of load up on. So I have been eating high volume foods. It works. So it's like oatmeal, sweet potatoes, popcorn, of course, fruits, vegetables. But you can add non-high volume foods in as long as you eat your high volume foods, so they keep you full. It works. High volume.
Great.
All right. We'll have to see.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into it. Guys, make sure you're letting us know. This is our very last show of the season. So this is the time if you want to share with your friends and your family, but this is the last show until we come back for season 5. I can't believe it, for season 5. But make sure you go ahead and share, follow, and like. And I really, at this point, I think that we're really about 6 or 7 people or followers away from being at 1,000. So that would be amazing if we could leave on our last show of the season with 1,000 followers. That would be amazing.
Awesome.
We can do it.
So, yes, I have faith in us that we can get it done. So please continue to share, follow, and like the chat on Facebook, the chat underscore, I think 757 on YouTube and on.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That was a sneeze.
All right, so who is going to get us started tonight? Let's get going.
Let's go.
Anybody?
All right,
Tamika?
Will, got it.
I thought that last time. Okay. All righty. So we're going to talk about a topic that we were going to talk about a couple of weeks ago with something's in my throat. Tammy Roman. So I'm gonna put
Yes.
this in. Hold on. All right. So Tammy Roman, she's 51. Her husband is 17 years younger. He is 34. He doesn't have any kids, wants kids. They've tried desperately to have kids. She's had 3 miscarriages. They've tried the IVF or something like that. Haven't had much luck, but he really wants kids. She went on the TV show called The Real, and when asked about starting a family, she said that her career is just starting to take off, and it's starting to. This is her quote. She said, "It's starting to reward me for all of my efforts and the time that I've been in business. And a baby for me right now would just not be the thing to do." So, she already has 2 kids from a previous marriage, but her husband really wants one. And this is what she offered to her husband. She said, "So I offered him an opportunity for us to take a break for a year or 2 and let him go find someone to have a child with. And then when he has his baby, we could get back together." One of the show hosts asked her, well, what would happen if he follows through with her offer? Roman replied that she would help raise the baby. She said, "I believe in co-parenting, and I believe that's a very valuable part of the child's life if the parents aren't together. You need to learn how to co-parent. And then I can be there and love the child as if it were my own." She said, "We tried to have a child together. We ultimately ended up with 3 miscarriages." So I want to ask you guys, do you think this is for you guys and the whole audience? Do you think this is completely selfless or completely stupid idea?
Whew. Okay, so it's not stupid, but like I mean, let me.
Could that backfire? You think that could backfire? on her?
Yeah, it can backfire. I'm just saying that there's other options out there. Like, so we could say, it's okay for him to have a baby with another woman. But the way she's making it sound is that he's going to have to find another woman and have physical intercourse with her in order to impregnate her and then basically have a whole relationship with someone until they can have a baby. So who knows how long that could take, depending on the woman he finds. And I just think science is advanced a little bit where you don't have to do all that. So I thought
that they had found, or it was like they had found a surrogate, and then I don't know. Then she went into this whole you can find somebody.
Well,
I just think at this point she don't want to be the parent. I don't think she wants to be the custodial parent.
Okay, wait, Will, what did you say?
That was what they asked her. She said that was an option for him to go off and find a surrogate. She said she figured that would take a year or two.
Right. Okay. So I think, to be quite honest, whether it becomes stupid or whether it becomes ideal or whatever, it is based on whatever decision he ends up making. I think it just depends on whatever decision that he ends up making is going to be what it is.
So you mean so like he could go ahead.
If he says, what, I just hold off on the idea of having a child, it's fine. I don't really want to do that. Then it's like, okay, like I appreciate you giving me that option, but that's not the option that I want to take. Or, okay, I appreciate you giving me that option, and that's what I'm going to do. Like, I think that, given the option to do, not do it or to do it is just, and I think whatever way he goes, it's going to be what it is. And I don't think that it's either a step of being stupid or like, I don't even think it's a label that can be put on it in a way,
Okay. It's definitely extraordinary. Chanel, you think there could be a label on it?
I don't think it could be a label, but I certainly understand what she's saying. She's not trying to block him from being fulfilled as a man in his quest. He wants to be a father, but she's also saying, I still want to be with you. So I'm willing to do it this way. She's offering another suggestion, and also saying, I don't want another baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'll help you with this one. I'll stand on the sideline. I'll support you through co-parenting. But no.
And to me, really, like, how much faith do you have in this man to be like, okay, I really feel it in my heart that you would stick to the plan. Like, this is a business. Like, this is a big deal here. You're going to go get this baby, and you're going to co-parent with this person, or you're going to bring the baby back. They're going to give us the baby, or whatever the case may be, and that's going to be what it is. Like,
now she said co-parenting.
She didn't say take the baby.
So so
she don't want to be the custodian.
So how much, like, so I feel like, again, that's number one. That it says a lot, I guess, the security that she has in him, or the faith that she has in him, that, he will pick the right person, and that it won't be no drama, with it, or whatever the case. And this person that you pick is obviously going to be with the idea of us co-parenting with this child.
Right. First off, whoever he found would have to be cool with it, right?
Right.
True. So the best option would probably be the surrogate. But I think, to me, I thought it was totally selfless. I mean, probably not the best example for it, but I think it's a perfect example of sacrifice, of also having ultimate faith in your relationship, but more importantly, in priority, because she's 51. She recognized she has 2 kids, but she knew that he really wanted kids. So, they evidently had been trying. She had 3 miscarriages, and then they tried the IVF. That's not cheap. So she tried. but she's willing for his sake, for him to have kids, to sacrifice and let him go get this child that he wants, because she evidently realized that she's not going to be able to give it to him. But then on top of that, she prioritized the fact that things are popping for her right now. And it's a perfect opportunity for her to go do that, him to go do that, and then still have faith that what they have is strong enough to bring them back together to work this thing out.
Goodness.
I agree with
Yeah.
I think I
What
agree
do you
that it's
think?
selfless, because I couldn't imagine most women going for it just off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we hear stories all the time. It's like, oh, guess we're not gonna have kids, or we can adopt.
Right.
You know, that's what I mean, right? I mean, it's tough. You know, having children isn't easy. Some women can have children, but you know, it is a difficult process. So if you can't, you know, I mean, it's like other things too. I mean, I've seen similar situations where people ask the question, like, if your significant other was in a horrible accident, or, you know, had a debilitating disease, and people really are like, oh, well, of course, I'd let them have another relationship. But man, I couldn't imagine what that feels like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of told somebody that before, and I meant it.
Say it again.
I mean, I kind of told somebody that before, and I meant it. I mean, I was like, you know, go do your thing. You know, you'll be my husband in like 5 or 10 years. I mean,
Well,
So y'all weren't together. Y'all weren't husband and wife at that time, right? Is what
no,
you mean.
but
Okay.
you understand what I'm saying. You know, it was deep, and the children's situation was a situation, and you know, you can't deny connections, and you know, so. But I'm saying the fact that she offered that, I can understand that, because I meant what I said. Like, even feeling what I felt, I meant what I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do wonder how he feels about it, though. Is he gonna take the offer, go find
Right.
a woman on the hunt for a viable mother, right, for my kids? Is he gonna have a checklist? Oh, now, you know, she got a weird nose. You know what I mean? Be one of his
And
friends.
so I wonder if he would be open with that mother, because I don't know how many women would like do that without some type of arrangement, you know, that's going to benefit her, you know.
Well, spoiler alert, he did decline the offer, stating that she's the only woman for him, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, is that because of guilt? Is he going to resent that when he does not have any kids?
I think so.
Of course, that's the popular thing, and probably for two women, the right thing to say. But how do you really mean that? You know, are we going to hear this in an argument some years down the road? You know, he blurts out something.
you know, to be honest with you, I mean, because, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that sometimes, like when I don't know, I feel like when men make the decision to be with women, or make the decision, or when men make the decision to just be in relationships or whatever, and children, the thought to talk of children, I think that men are kind of accepting of like, okay, well, you know, if this person can't have children, or if this person or she doesn't want children, I think it almost becomes like they kind of adapt to it. I think that it becomes women who become a little like, I can't have children. Like, it becomes more of a heartache for them. Than more so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but more so than men. I think that sometimes men just adapt to what the situation is, and it becomes like a harder place for women to be. Like, I can't. Like, is it? I'm less than a person because I can't have children. How do you feel about that? You know, whatever.
Yeah, I would say that the pressure to have children for women is a lot more. But like men, you know, I think a lot of men want to have children for selfish reasons, right? I mean, I'm not saying that that's the case, but a lot of times it's like, I want to spread my legacy, my last name. You know, I mean, there's men out here who consider themselves career baby fathers. Like, you know, like they have so many women that they've had a child with, and you got to say, well, why? What was the goal? And they're just spreading their seed. You know, it makes them feel like they've accomplished something. And but it's not like there's a time limit, right? So, for example, I'm not saying that I don't wish this on her, but if something were to happen with her, or if they end up breaking up for some reason, he can have kids. And maybe it won't be easier as he gets older, but he can have kids for the rest of his life, basically. She had a time limit, and now apparently it's passed. If he's actually able to have kids now, then that means he's able to have kids for the rest of his life. So if they break up for some other reason, he didn't like the way she makes the breakfast in the morning, and he divorced her, then he'd still be able to have kids with somebody else, regardless of this arrangement.
Yeah.
We're talking about kids. Since we're on the topic of kids, okay. Well, I don't know if that's what she really meant to say, but okay. Since we're on the topic of kids, we always hear that when people have children, when parents have children, it's like, oh, I'm so happy to be a parent. I'm so happy to be a parent. And everybody, looks at the fact that this person or these people are happy to be parents. But then people get an attitude when you're a parent and you're like, I'm not happy to be a parent. Like, I don't really want to be a parent. I don't want these kids. I don't want this kid. Like, is it horrible for somebody to say they're not happy to be a parent?
No.
No.
No, speak your truth. No.
I think there's a lot to say about being a parent, and the fact that a lot of people, it's this idea that it's natural, and that you have a kid and you're just naturally connected to this baby, right? Like, you just, oh, I have a kid and oh, this is great. But oh, that's what she meant with her comment.
I like what you're saying.
You're automatically connected.
Yeah.
Put on the breath. That stuff in the movies are.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people go into it, especially like we just talked about, where some women, it's like they're having a baby was like the proof of concept, right? Like, this was what makes them a woman. And then if they don't have that natural connection with their child, that's a problem, right? And who knows, the family could be judging them. The family could be making it about how the baby loves their father or looks like their father and doesn't even look like the mom, and all those things. I'm not saying that, that's the only reason, but it could just be as simple as taking care of kids is hard. They don't care about you. And I don't mean it like, but in a general sense, they are just like, when are you going to feed me? I'm bored. I'm tired.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I say this. I initially, when I was pregnant, I was just like, I'm not sure about this. Like, having, I took several pregnancy tests. I was not happy about it. I was just like, I just don't know. I don't know about this, because I think that the thought of me having to, as I was going to say, the thought of me having to equip this person, this baby, to be in this world, and whatever may go right or go wrong may it, potentially be my fault. Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on a person, because there are no directions that comes with being a parent. There are no, it's just like it's whatever, it's almost like the things that have been instilled in you are the things that you will naturally kind of instill in this person. And, then, it might be some things that you're like, okay, well, I didn't necessarily like that growing up, so I won't instill that, or, okay, I really like that, so I'll instill. But it's hard. It's hard being a person. I mean, being a parent. I can't necessarily say that I hated the idea or didn't like the idea of being a parent, but I must say that it was definitely some difficult times that I had as a parent to have to guide another person. And then when they get like she's an adult now. But when she says certain things, I'm like, okay, is that because of me? And she's like, Mom, chill. Like that's just something that I'm going through, that I've grown to learn or whatever. But but it's I just think it's difficult. But I honestly don't. If somebody said to me, I don't think that me having a kid, I'm not happy being a parent. I don't think that I would feel any type of way, because kids are challenging.
Yeah.
Kids are challenging. Nowadays that you can barely you can only speak at a whisper. You can't even speak loud to their ass, before the whole damn the social services, the police, and everybody else is at your house. It's too much.
Oh no. I mean, yeah, like, are you being supported? Everyone agrees that it's your responsibility, right? If anything happens, it's your fault. Even if someone else was watching them, it's like, why did you let that person watch them? They dropped your baby. It's your fault. You shouldn't have let them hold. I mean, you're entirely responsible for a human life. I mean, for me, definitely, just waiting on my child to be born was like a moment where I'm like, oh man, like, I'm a crazy guy. Like, shoot, I might mess up my child. But I got over it. After a while, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I mean, who knows, right? Who knows what a parent can do? As long as you're treating them well, they should be okay. And I just think, one, they don't teach people how to parent in America. And I'm not saying that a class would make people the best parents ever, but apparently some countries mandate parents go to class to learn how to become a parent. And I'm just like, as humans, we pass down all this knowledge, but we don't pass down parenting until you have a baby right there. Then everybody wants to come up to you like, dang, Shanika, you're using glass bottles instead of this fiber optic bottle. What's wrong with you? Why are you using? You don't have a diaper warmer? All diapers should be exactly 97 degrees Fahrenheit. I just got this baby. Where was all this advice beforehand?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, we got some comments.
Yeah.
My bad. I went hard, didn't I? Go ahead, y'all.
Jenny LeClaire says, I feel like there should be a community class that everyone should take. Yeah, burn their bums. All right. Yeah, so ultimately I don't judge. If you don't like them, then anyway, we'll move on from that. But I don't think that you love them, but everybody don't like their kids. Because I think my mama don't like them.
You're right.
She loves us, but I think sometimes she don't like us. She does not like us. Even as adults, she does not like us. She's like, listen. But all right.
I was kidding about the diaper warmer. Don't if there's such a I don't think they exist. But if they did exist,
you are not on diaper here.
I was totally kidding. I just said it seems like they just got the most random gadgets.
I know, right? Well, speaking of women, let's talk about women and sex. So my question is, in today's time, when we have these alpha females, and women are now doing more vetting, of men in the dating pool. Is it still looked at, women who tend to engage in sexual activity with men sooner rather than later? Are they still considered to be devalued? Are women still looked at as the way they're valued when they choose to engage in sex with a man sooner rather than later, or having them wait?
Listen. Let me listen.
So what do we say when we say, oh, she had sex with him too soon, she gave away her value? What do we say to that?
I say, mind your damn business. That's what I say. I say, mind your damn business. Because I just feel like as an adult, okay, now There are some stipulations with, because I do not think, okay, now I always feel like when in 2021, you should be using protection. Always. That's always my thing, because you do not need to be in your 40s and your 50s talking about you got an STD.
Okay, let's assume everybody's protected.
Okay. I just had to put that out there because everybody don't, I just had to say that. But I just feel like we are not in that day and time anymore. People aren't waiting to do things anymore. People aren't waiting. It's like people like, no, I need to know, because some things become a little bit more important, because now you have women who already have money, who already have a place, who are already established. We're not waiting to get with this man so we can build this empire. Some women already come with an empire. So why am I waiting to sleep with you? Like, why am I waiting? Or even for men, like, why? It's not that anymore. It's like nobody is like really, like, it was a time where everybody was like, make sure you stay a virgin until such and such, such and such. Like, I don't even think people even ask that question anymore. Are you still a virgin?
Wait 6 months. Do you feel like men value women that wait more, or make them wait longer more? Men, what do you think?
I think that people say that, but I think that value, I think that there are men who do, but I think that it's moving towards more and more where men are not, it's not a value. It's not a thing anymore. Because people are because there's so many things that are happening. It's like, I might die tomorrow from corona. Like, I'm not waiting on, like.
So, in my head, I'm like, I know that I don't care, right? I personally don't care. And honestly, the men I know, I mean, the first thing they're trying to do is figure out how they're going to sleep with a woman. So, I mean, the dating, especially when we were all younger. So I'm just all like, you can't hold women to that standard and not men. And I know it's a double standard, and people talk about, I mean, there's men out here who still believe that the vagina will stretch out and be loose after having sex with somebody. So I'm just like, like, I mean, it's just to know that I know that there are men out there who are still like, a woman's value is only matched by their ability to have sex with a man. And I'm like, I don't see it, but I know that it exists, and I don't really know how to combat it. You know what I mean? I think over time it will go away. But, as Jenny said, it's purity culture. It's this idea that, you're owning a woman who's pure and untouched. And I mean, I understand at general level, I wouldn't want to date a woman who has slept with my friends. But that's just because I'd be, in my head, I'd be like, hey, like, she's from all my friends. Like, they all know. It would make me feel uncomfortable. But if I don't know the people she slept with, I'm not even thinking about it.
Right.
I think for me, I'm more, like, this is sidebar, but I think I'm more triggered by the people when I find out, like, just talking, I mean, just like in general, like listening to conversations, when I found out that people are having sex without protection on the first date. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, I don't care that you're having sex on the first date or the first night that you meet this person. I'm more pissed or triggered at the fact that you didn't use protection. Like, I have more of a problem with you on that than you having sex with this person and you just met them. Like, or you just, this is y'all's first date and y'all been talking for a month. Like, I'm more triggered by that than the other stuff. So, I mean, I think the value, again, like I said, I do believe that there are men who devalue a woman that they feel like, okay, if she sleeps with me on the first night, then, the value of her goes down. But then it's like, it could also go the other way. It's like, well, okay, well, you do the same thing. So yeah, no, I'm not calling you back. I don't want to talk to you either, because you sleep with people on the first night too. So like, what makes you any better or any different than me?
I agree with you guys 100%. Look at all us on the same page. Will, what do you think?
Because I know Will has not said a word.
Honey, this topic. It's been quite a while since I've had to experience this topic, I would say. But in speaking with my clients and guys at the barbershop who indulge in such activities, I don't hear any of my barber friends mention anything about value, virtuous. They don't want, let me see if I can remember some of the words they use. I mean, I don't even hear "ho" no more. You know, I mean, because I think it's expected that women are having sex too, just like men.
Right.
It may just be that circle of women. You know, the more higher economic women may not behave that way, but I
Right.
know the ones that I know that sit in my chair and stuff like that, they talk about sex just as much as men, and I don't think, at least with them, there's a negative connotation to it. I think
Right.
maybe if they don't carry themselves like a freak or a hoe, maybe that's more important to the guy. But I don't think anybody is, or at least like I said, the guys in the barbershop are talking about, you know, she don't mess with her because she done been with X, Y, and Z, or she gave it up on the first date or something like that. I mean, I just think everybody's just doing it. I don't think that is
They're only
as taboo as it used to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think people are owning their own sexuality. They're doing what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So who are we who is it? Who are we talking? Who's talking next? Is it Amir?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess I could talk about something. You know what I find interesting when it comes to the world of interracial dating? A lot of people talk about how black men get a status, like they feel like they have a status symbol by dating somebody who is white. But what's interesting is nobody really talks about what the status is for a white person who dates a black man or a black woman. And in this particular video, it was a black man arguing with a white woman who told him that white women do not receive any type of status benefit by dating black men. And in general, they actually receive a downgrade in the view of their white circle, their family members, their friends, for even being interested in dating black people. And you know, I think in general, I'm just kind of like curious. I mean, do you think that's true? Do you guys think that? I mean, first off, it's wrong. I mean, I think it's wrong to think that you got a status, you know, upgrade for dating a white person. But what does that mean for how can we save our brothers from being put in this position for when they think dating white means that they're better as a person?
Well, I can see how. Now, I agree with you in that I don't agree, but standing back and looking at it, I can see how some people feel like it's an upgrade just considering white privilege exists. I mean, why wouldn't some people see that as an upgrade if we have those that see white people as superior?
Okay.
That in itself, that alone, I
So
don't agree, but
the proximity to whiteness helps that black person in their life, or at least they think
I
it
don't
will.
know why.
at least they think so. At least they think so. Right.
Whenever I see a black guy with a white girl, and I share like when back in high school, I used to only date white girls, but that was just because they were nasty and they did things that black girls didn't do back then in the 80s. So that's why I dated them. But I've never seen a black guy with a white girl and thought that it was an upgrade. You had made that statement initially. And I've never seen a white girl with a black guy and thought that was a downgrade. I don't know why. That's made me think. I was like,
now just to clarify, I mean, I don't think people are out here, if they're in the relationship, I don't think they're going around talking about how they got an upgrade or a downgrade.
no, how it's viewed from the outside perception of people seeing them as a couple.
Well, I think it was Nick Cannon. I almost want to think that it was Nick Cannon. He did an interview with someone. Okay, I'm gonna just say a person. A person did this interview, but I almost want to think it was him. And he was like, when you have been told that you can't have, it might not have been him, but when you have been told that you cannot have something for so long, and then you finally get the opportunity to have this thing that you said that you were told that you couldn't have for so long, then it's like, okay, then I'm going to go for this thing. I'm going to go for it. which is white women. You know, for so long, black men, you know, you couldn't date in that realm of women. If you were a black person. Now you can. So it's like, okay, grab. And then I think that it becomes like the value is put on it. I think that people put the value on it because when we were really seeing it, I mean, granted, you know, when I was in high school, there were black guys who dated white women, but it was almost seen as like when a lot of the black guys would be recruited into the NFL, the NBA, or whatever. When they got women, they went and got white women. So I think that that's where if you want to say the value, it's like, okay, you have this high value man, and what he perceived to be value or of value was a white woman, because he saw no value in being with the black woman because that's basically all he could, or black, or he was fed that black women only wanted his money, or you know they didn't have anything, and if you got with this girl that she was gonna take your money. But then we soon found out that those roles were flipped, and that the same things that y'all claimed that black women would do, white women are now doing to you too.
But then let's also not forget about the society standard of beauty at the time. You know, our hair was not becoming. You know, we were darker. Their hair was straight. I mean, for more purposes than just, I guess, submission or whatever. You know, white women were just looked at as more desirable.
I know back in the day.
You know, we can even consider colorism. So.
Yeah. Now colorism, that bothers me. That right there, that irritates me.
Just because their skin is lighter, so.
That irritates me. I think sometimes I forget that I'm light skinned, but that shit irritates me.
Because you light skinned.
Like, but I don't like that. I do not 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 like that. And it's funny because if you ask Asia, like, I don't know, I maybe have told y'all this before, that when she was growing up, like, I really never told her that she was pretty.
Yeah, you told us.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you did bring this up in an earlier episode.
Yeah. So, like, because I'm like, yeah, that just bothers me. I think that that's just, I don't know. It's just silly. But anyway, but I think that, but I will also say that I watched this, I don't know if it was a series. I don't know. I don't even know what it was, an interview or whatever, where this white guy was saying that, I feel like I've told y'all this before. This white guy was saying that when black women marry white men, they become they become like a power couple, versus black women being in a relationship with a black man, or a white man being in a relationship with a white woman, because it's like almost like the black woman is kind of like the backbone in a sense of the black family, and then the white man is like the breadwinner in the white family. So when them two come together, they become a power couple, because you know of what she brings or what she carries, like the weight of her carrying what she carries in the relationship, with the dynamics that she has in the relationship of the black man and the black woman.
No, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he was pretty much saying that that's why they become a power couple, and that was from a white guy. He said that.
Oh Lord.
And then the black guy who was interviewing him was like, "All right, guys, black, you know," he was talking to black guys. He was like, "We need to step it up, because if not, pretty soon all of the black women are going to be with white men." And it's just funny to me. It's not funny, but like when I look like on Facebook, when I'm scrolling on Instagram, it is so many African women and black women that are with like white men, and I'm just
even like Real Housewives. You know, my wife was watching some of it, and I noticed that some of the girls on there, like in Potomac, are married to white men. And are they power couples? I mean, we could argue that, but what I do think is interesting is there is a movement of black women saying we need to date outside of our race to get away from black men, and we shouldn't be limiting ourselves. And I mean, hey, you know, clearly black men are dating white women. What I do find interesting is that, you know, based on what I was talking about with the status thing, is that white men don't get a status upgrade or downgrade no matter who they date, because they're the default. They're the status quo in our society.
Right. Right.
So they can date a black woman, and maybe they'll have a white man tell them that they're a Negro lover. But beyond that, they still who they are. They're still able to benefit from our society in full. So I do think that was interesting.
And why is it like that bothers me? Like now that we're talking about, like I'm bothered by that. Like why is it the black? It's like, okay, or is this a value or is this a devalue? Like why are we the ones that have to you know what I'm saying? Like
always devalue
dictate whether it's a value or devalue. Like who the hell? What the hell?
I mean, race is a very touchy subject, especially with relationships, because you got people who are in those interracial relationships who are quick to defend themselves regardless of the reality they're living in. But for me, I did see a post recently that said you can tell the difference between if a child was raised by a white mom and a black dad versus a black mom and a white dad. And I was like, what? And I'd never heard this before, but I saw several comments where people were talking about that. And mainly because all I know are that one. I only know black men who've married white women and had children, and then the white mom was racist. But I've never really, I haven't had too many experiences with the other way around. So if y'all have something you could share.
I'm trying to think, do I know? I mean, I know, but they don't have any, but I mean, I don't know. What I was about to say was that, I mean, I've seen some people who dated, and I won't say one or the other, but I still thought that they dated, they married somebody outside of their race, and I still thought the person that they got with was kind of sketchy. I mean, and the white person, I was just like, I don't really know. Like, this is a little sketchy situation right here. And so, I don't know. I see some sketchiness, and I can almost say, I don't. That was not a good idea for you, and it might have been a devalued situation, but it ain't for me to judge. And you love who you love, I guess. And,
I guess.
Yeah. Anyway. Alrighty.
Wait. So who hasn't gone?
I think everybody's gone.
We are.
Anybody else have any?
I
have about 5 or 6 more, but Shanika, you have one?
I do have one.
Okay.
So my question to you all is there, okay, so actually I wanted to talk about Serena and Venus, King Richard, the movie King Richard. And and so it has been getting some good reviews about it, but their oldest sister, so their dad's oldest daughter, her name is Sabrina, has come out, and she's kind of pissed off and basically has said that she doesn't think that he should be deemed as King Richard because he left her mom with 6 children, 5 of those children which were his. And so she did not feel like he should be deemed King Richard, and that when Serena and Venus made the movie that they needed to depict his whole entire life versus just the life that he started when he got with their mom. And she was saying that even though she has forgiven him, but I feel like when people say that, that's a lie. Because if you forgave him, then why are you bringing this all up? Like, why are you talking about it and putting it all in the news and all that stuff? And she's a chaplain, so I feel like that was for you and the Lord, but whatever. But anyway, so my question to you is, if you, or to everybody, you had an opportunity to write a book about your parent or one of your parents who had children before or after you, would you depict their whole entire life, or would you just depict the life that known them to have with you?
I think their story was about, I think they were telling their own story.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I felt like.
Which really didn't include his previous children.
Mm-hmm.
And it included their father as they saw him. So, I mean, maybe the chaplain can write her own story and maybe not call him King Richard. I mean, she can't get mad at that. I mean, I think in whatever light he is cast in the eyes of Venus and Serena, whether positive or good, is their story. I mean, we've seen this on the flip side where people tell their story and they they obliterate their parents, but that's the story. So I mean, I don't think
she's mad at Will Smith. She's saying that Will Smith should not have played that part because because the whole story was not told, and he should have insisted. I'm like, how is that man going to insist?
Lord, lady, go to counseling.
Oh, Lord. How is he going to insist anything? Oh my gosh. How is he going to insist anything when he was, they vetted him, thank you.
She needs to write a story called Before the Wreckage.
Yeah, so just to clarify, Serena and Venus were heavily involved in the making of this movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Will Smith said that he had to go through, like he went through a strenuous kind of, like interview with them for them to decide, he was the person for that role.
Yeah, because I had no idea. First off, I didn't even know that there was more to their story. You know what I mean? Like, just personally, I knew that their father pushed them to be in tennis. And that's about it. And I mean, to me, that's just like Tiger Woods' dad, right? I mean, we could look at them kind of like in a gray area because we're like, their children became successful, but they didn't have a childhood because of their parents, right? I'm not saying that they didn't have any childhood, but like I wasn't there, right? I don't know. But, I'm like, I didn't even know he abandoned his old family and raised them. Like, I didn't know that until just now. And you're expecting Will Smith to know that when he's approached to do a script?
Right.
Hey, yeah, Will, we think you'd be perfect to play our father. It's going to be great. Here's the script. And then he's like, wait a second, didn't your father abandon his other family that's not famous?
Right.
You shouldn't write this.
Right. That wasn't even his place to me. But my original question is, guys, would you tell your parents' entire story? Would you tell them if they had children or whatever life that they had prior to being with you or whatever, after you, would you tell their entire story, or would you just tell the story of them when they were with you, about them? Would you talk about them while they were with you, or would you try to dig deep into their story? And do you feel like you owe your half brothers and sisters anything?
No.
For their story to be told?
No.
I think it depends, because I think with this particularly, if Venus and Serena knew about their half siblings and knew that their father abandoned, like, it depends on when they found out, right? Because if they found out when they were kids, it's like, oh yeah, I abandoned your siblings and their mom to move in with your mom. I mean, that would have a big impact on my life. But if I found out after I'm successful, I've made millions of dollars, and my parents are like, oh yeah, by the way, my ex-wife found me. I abandoned her and all of your half siblings. Like, well, then my whole life has been without this knowledge. It's not going to change my outlook,
True.
I kind of agree with you, Amir. And the reason why I say that is because I think that the only way that I would have included them in this story if I was Venus and Serena is if they were somehow involved in each other's lives. Like, people have completely cut themselves off from the previous lives before. I have seen it happen. So maybe when he moved on from his previous spouse or relationship, maybe he really did officially abandon them. Maybe they never came over summers. Maybe they never, you understand what I'm saying? So maybe Venus and Serena maybe knew of their existence, but didn't know them.
So they've never met. So I could just clear that up. They've never met. What Sabrina said was, when she was 6 years old, he said, I'll be back. I'm going to the store to buy you a bike. And he never came back. And then years later, he ended up marrying Serena and Venus's mom. And I think she already had 3 daughters. And then they had them 2. And she said that to this day, she has never met Serena and Venus, that she has 2 sons. She said that she would love to meet Serena's daughter. She has 2 teenage boys. And she said, but they've never met. Like, she's had a phone call. She's talked to him a couple of times since then. She was like, but, she doesn't feel like, that story, like the whole story needed to be told on like how he left them. And He left their family struggling, and then he went on to create this family with their mom, and they went on to be, legends. So, but for some reason, I want to think that two of the brothers, Serena, in a story, one of the brothers she has met, but she don't have a relationship. And then, which brings me to the other point, whose job is it to bring the siblings together? Is it the dad? Is it if I ever found out that I had some half brothers and sisters, I'm just really like, listen, we too old for that.
I think there's levels.
I've been all my life without you. I do not need to know that you were my half brother sister. I'm good.
But this whole thing screams opportunity to me. Serena and Venus, they have been famous for a very long time. So now that the movie comes out, now she's saying, well, we want to tell our story. No.
Yeah.
I know she called it a comedy or something like that, the way he was depicted. But the whole purpose of the movie was to show how his effect in training Venus and Serena. It was not to get this whole backstory. In a book, it would be called a memoir. It was on a particular part of his life. So she was not included in this part with him helping Venus and Serena. Exactly. So you either get some coins together so you can do another story. Like Princess Diana had so many movies and books told about her, all different things. We're still learning different aspects.
Right.
It didn't have to be his whole backstory. It was about him raising them two girls, putting them beads in their hair, and sending them out on the damn tennis court. So
I didn't even know that they had stepsisters. It's like that.
What happened to them? The oldest one. I saw the movie. I hated it. I thought Will Smith was horrible in it. I just don't love it.
It's on Netflix or something?
I think it is on. Yeah, it was on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So maybe I was distracted, but I didn't like the movie at all. And then I didn't know it was going to stop where it stopped. So.
Well, I know what everyone is going to like when we return for our next season of The Chat.
Oh yes, and when is that?
We're looking at January 24th is the date, right?
January 24th, we will return with season 5.
Yes.
Yeah, so like our topic, you're gonna love what we got coming for you at the end of this year, or the beginning of next year.
Yes, January 24th. January 24th, we will be back. If you have not liked our page, if you have not joined our page, if you have not followed our page, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, please make sure you do on all 3 platforms. All right.
Oh, and I have a shameless plug. My little sister is Miss Maryland, and they are having their finals for Miss USA tonight on the FYI channel. It's about to start right now, or you can watch it on Hulu.
Hulu, right. I was following her this weekend when they were doing the prelims. I'm rooting for her.
So we'll see. Hopefully.
Okay, I have to look. Well, guys, listen, we will see you all at the first of the year. So until then, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Have a great rest of your year. Be prosperous. Set your goals. We will have goals. We will talk about those goals when we come back. This is the last month of the year. So, well, not really. Tomorrow. No, 2 days. We have 2 days before the last month.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wednesday. So yes. Yes, get those goals going, and so you can start your year off right, because we definitely will. And we will see you all back here on January 24th. So please have a safe rest of the year. And
Be safe. Be safe.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
See ya.